Hello everyone and welcome back. My name's XFerginatorX and we are covering another Halo Controversies video today. Today we're covering the progressive ranking system. Unlike the competitive ranking system I did a video on that we covered a little while ago that was filled with tons of numbers and algorithms and so forth and a bunch of like things that lose most people's attentions unless you're like a try-hard competitive player that really gets into that kind of stuff. Otherwise it probably wasn't really interesting as much to you as this one might be. The progressive ranking system is much more simplified in its design, but still has a lot of arguments over which is better system to go with. Unlike the competitive rank system that was introduced to us in Halo 2, the progressive ranking system wasn't introduced to us until Halo 3. The progressive system is different than the competitive in that the design of it is to always go up over time and never really go down, except for some rare situations that happened with one system, but I'll mention that as we go along. But it's basically not designed to, necessarily line you up with other players, but really to show how long you've really been playing the game for, pretty much, but with some other factors as well added into it. The first system we'll start off here is the Halo 3 progressive ranking system, the original one, which was based on experience points. It was very simplified in how it worked. You only got experience points in matchmaking games, and you got 1 point if you won the match and 0 points if you lost the match. And due to a constant problem of people always quitting, they ended up adding in a -1 experience point if you left the game and or if you got kicked for team killing and you got booted from the match. As you progress through this system, you would unlock new ranks and also new armors, and the highest you could get to was a general rank with a top grade of 4, which would be a 5-star general, which required a massive amount of points to get to, 5,000 experience points to be exact. What was interesting about this system versus all the other systems that took place afterwards was that it was tied to your competitive ranking system, so it actually was a 2-in-1 system in a way. For example, you could be level 50 in skill rank on the competitive scale, but if you only have 60 experience points, then you would only be a gunnery sergeant grade 2. This is how we could identify boosters real easily by seeing they got max rank but had very few matches played, so their progressive rank was very low. And also, like myself, even though I have 3,500 and so experience points, which would land me a general grade 3 by its requirement to get to, but because I have not unlocked the level 50, which is required to get to general rank to be unlocked, I am only a force colonel. Not going to go to like the whole level locking thing. I already did a video with the competitive ranking system and what happened there, but just giving everyone an idea how the competitive level system tied into the progressive ranking system. So you could identify level locking and boosters, and when checking a player's service record for player details. Certain progressive ranks even rewarded you a cool little item, but they always kept it on a lower rank because they didn't want anyone cheating to get their way to the top, which unfortunately with some of the other progressive ranks afterwards really had some of those issues. So we'll go into those though. Then into Halo Reach, we would everything would be changed around because they wanted people to not be felt like they have to play the multiplayer mode, and they wanted people to feel like they had more freedom to play other modes, though they really didn't give as many points for playing the other modes. Like custom games really just got you nothing for it, but they really wanted to make you feel like you still got something for playing, even if it wasn't much. There would be no competitive ranking system at launch either. That's why they also would have no point of tying it into it. It didn't even get added till later after the launch. Also, you got XP just from again playing anything. You could play Forge, you could play campaign, you could play firefight, you could play matchmaking, any of those modes, and you could play them. And that was the really cool part about it, was you could play anywhere, and when you got XP you also got credits, and those credits you could buy armors as well, and that were sometimes locked behind ranks that you had to get from the progressive ranking system as well. They had to put a cap though on it several times. there's like a daily cap, and twice they put a cap on there to limit the amount of points, and they upped it a bit, then they upped it again. This is due to because of players that were like WoW tryhard players from World of Warcraft that are like self-admitted proud grinders that would literally just sit there, play video games an unhealthy amount. They would sit there, not eat for several days, just keep playing. And they just, at the time, there's a lot of that controversy about grinders, how they some people went to ridiculous lengths. There were some really disturbing articles I read about people that did certain things, but the worst one I ever heard was a part where like a family forgot to feed their baby because they were both sitting there. The couple was actually sitting there playing video games. Apparently that was actually a real story. That was pretty sad, and that's not really, that's just disgusting. I think it was like they also didn't change its diapers or anything. It was just constantly whining until the neighbors complained and whatnot. But yeah, it's so apparently there's people that just take that grinding stuff way too serious, and that's why I decided to put a cap on it so that people would stop playing after a certain amount of time. Though other people hated that because then if you hit the max rank and then you keep playing, you're not really getting anything, or the max, not rank, the max cap. But anyways, so that was just their thing to kind of avoid it. There was also this other reason why they avoided it. They patched it day one, but they just added in there, still keep it there just in case, because some of the maps were rumored to still have the nav pathing for bots on it. And so someone had actually built a way to at least have the bots still work in multiplayer, and supposedly had made a hack that would have been able to use day one. And Bungie found out about this and actually fixed it day one. But just in case, they kept that cap in there as well, because what it was they still had the elite AI pathing in the maps, like I think Longsword it was, and you could just put him on that, and the bot would know where to go on the map to go after players, and that would basically cause a whole big number of issues. From my game design knowledge, possibly that's what they did, and they just removed the nav pathing so that it wasn't in there, so that they couldn't use a bot. But unfortunately there's no way to confirm it, but some of the people I knew that were more into the game, actually higher up there in knowledge about what was going on, actually said that was a supposed rumor that was going on. But anyways, let's continue on here. So day one they had an update, and they right off the bat people thought that was weird how they already had a update, and just you got a credit cap limit. So basically they raised it 2 different times in Halo Reach. The last one that they raised it was in 2012, where they raised it from 120,000 to 200,000 XP cap. But before that, not even if you hit the level cap every day, that was not the only cap that they had on there. On January 7th of 2011, they subsequently increased the slot machine reward points that you'd get, as they would add in a random slot thing that gave you points as well too. So it was just a random thing as well that they added in. And before that, they actually limited the your ranks to Lieutenant Colonel grade 3 in Halo Reach until the community had completed 117 million daily and weekly challenges combined to achieve by November 2nd, 2010 is when they got it. Before Halo 5, this progressive ranking system was the most hated ranking system of its time because of how grindy it was. Even though there may have been a cool reward at the end of it, it was really just not worth it for some of us that played it. We just really didn't enjoy it after we got to it. We got to Inheritor, and then it was like, after we got to it, but just feeling like we had to grind for that one cool armor piece. And once we finally got to it, it's like it was cool armor. I just wish they had not made it so grindy to get up to. And basically after I got that, which I was one of the first people with a couple of my friends that also got Inheritor, we were just like, well, I'm bored of Halo Reach, I don't want to play anymore. We're like just completely burnt out of playing, and I ended up playing other game modes and not coming back for like almost a year, and I missed out a lot of the custom games because I was just really just burnt out on everything. So yeah, a lot of people were at the time, I remember, just did not enjoy the Inheritor rank once they got it, and they were just like, it was not worth it. They should have like reduced it to a third of the amount of time to take or something like that. It just was not really that great of an experience. I remember even one time I was grinding so much because I had, you know, nothing to do that day and I just wanted to keep playing, and I remember just, you know, just getting so exhausted because of work that I had prior, and I just passed out. I was just done. I was just asleep. But yeah, that was really annoying. But anyways, that was at the time the most annoying system. People still like it because of the rewards you got and stuff like that, but at the time, just people were not, you know, fan of that really grindy system that they created, even though it did, for the fun part about it, allow you to do whatever you wanted and play wherever you want, which at least was, you know, some fun to it, because custom games did get, you know, some attention, even though if you try to play custom games, it'd probably take you like 20 years to get to Inheritor. But unfortunately, again, it's because they wanted to counter anyone that was a bunch of sweaties that would grind every day and would have literally no life and just be like one of those Colonel 100s that has a ship bucket. Not to mention, you know, how many people would abuse the AFK exploits and matchmaking to get credits. They would go for like one kill, and then they would just go and grab their rubber band on their controllers and then just start spinning around. In a firefight, there was a commendation where if you got it, you could actually, the commendation was to not die at all in firefights. So what did they do? They would intentionally, right off the bat, find a hiding spot, like I think it's called courtyard, and these people would like literally hide up in the corner in this like little like spot that you could hide into and not get killed from. Really annoying. And they would just sit there and they would go off and, you know, make dinner and whatnot, just do other stuff, but besides actually play the game and help the team out, because they didn't want to die, because they would get progress on their experience point. So it was really annoying that people would do that stuff, and the forums were filled with people, you know, begging for them to, you know, give out more XP because they thought it was ridiculous how little they were getting for XP. There was that, and what was it? And then what was it? When that's pretty much about it. But it was pretty interesting though. The system was at least somewhat not, you know, intrusive as some other ones. At least they like gave out cool stuff like commendations that make it also fun, and you also got other things like challenges and custom challenges you could do, and so it actually had some other things about it. Versus, you know, when Halo 4 came around, they lowered the next progression system to something so ridiculously easy. It's embarrassing, like, why they even made it that low. That's insane. You know, people got their wish that they would actually lower it, but it's like you ask them just to lower it and you go just a little bit, just, you know, lower it down like to a third, make it not so grindy, and then they take it and they go, oh, you want a little bit grindy? Oh, I thought you meant all the way down. And so basically Halo 4's system, I don't even need to explain that. There's like, I think Luke the Notable did a video on that you could get to the like max rank in like 80 hours. Just that was the beginning of why microtransactions just suck, because people were just buying out Mountain Dews and stuff and getting the codes on the back of them, and if you had got like a whole bunch of them, you could just really just bust through the system real fast just using stuff that you bought. So it wasn't really earned at all. So basically, if I had to pick out the two armors, Halo 4 was still better than Halo Reach in terms of I did not like grinding and it burnt me out, but that was just way easy to get to. Getting to SR 130, you know, you get to SR 50 and then all you had to do was choose specializations. Then after you complete after 10 ranks, you had another, and you did that until you got to SR 130, with each specialization unlocking armors, weapon skins, emblems. Even though Halo 4 got, you know, bagged on a lot because of how easy it was to rank up in, and that it did not, you know, take long at all. And if you had money, you could get through the system really fast with those Mountain Dew double XP things they had at launch, which was absolutely stupid. But talking about stupid, we move on to Halo 5 with its max rank system of 152. Seriously, this system is so bad. I feel like as if Halo Reach and Halo 5 were in a bar getting drinks together, and Halo Reach was like, man, people really don't like the fact that my progressive ranking system is so grindy out of all the other Halo games. And then Halo 5 is like, don't worry, brother, I got your back. Hold my beer for me. I'll show you how it's done. and basically made Halo Reach's grindy progressive ranking system look like child's play in comparison. When we said, you know, Halo 4 was too easy and Halo Reach was too grindy, we were looking for something, you know, in between that. But 343 just, you know, made it ridiculous. And at least Halo Reach had some commendations in firefight and matchmaking and campaign, which were a good amount of them that you could play parts of that and rank up easily and could, you know, create your own challenges. So it didn't make it as bad, but they should have, you know, it still was not that liked. But Halo 5 had like very few commendations, and the breakout ones, I absolutely hate those. I'm never gonna complete those. They, you know, suck. And then the Grunt Goblin one, which is very deceptive. It makes you think, oh, you just have to kill the Grunt Goblin. No, you have to break the shields that cover the Grunt Goblin so you can shoot the pilot and kill him. If you don't and you just kill the Grunt Goblin, you don't get any experience points on that. You actually have to kill the Grunt inside with a precision-based headshot, pretty much, which is really, really annoying because those shields take forever to drop. And even if you do drop it, someone else might kill the Grunt instead. So it's really annoying that some of the accommodations that came out with that were just absolutely annoying and basically made you not very team focused and very self-centered when trying to get those commendations. And you know, if you don't kill the pilot, you don't get jack. And you look at the graph for XP per rank and you watch the slope from 140 to 152 just drastically shoot up to a ridiculous number. So it's so ridiculous high on the XP that the amount of XP to get to level 1 to 150, which I'm still not at 150 yet, but to get from there, all that XP that it took to get all the way to that level, you have to repeat it all over again from 150 to 152. I see countless number of people still wishing to make it easier by giving out more XP, but I don't think that's going to happen, sadly. But that is actually even one of the biggest requests that I got from the top 10 like last call Halo 5 requests that they want to see. And one of the things that people kept requesting was more XP, like a lot more XP. And seriously, like if 343 even like gave out like ×5 as many experience points, people still probably won't get to level 152 because of just how grindy it is. It's just ridiculous how long it takes. Even like, I don't even think like they made it ×10 and I grinded it, I would even get close to 152 in like the next year, because it's that long of a process. That's why people that's why when so if if you're planning to get to 152, unless you are in the 140s, you might as well just give up at this point. I'm not trying to be a downer or anything, but unless you're gonna no life it until Halo Infinite, it's not going to be possible. I don't even see that being possible, being done this year if it were to come out this year, but I don't think it's coming out this year. But if it was, you just have no chance. Sorry. And unless you give in to the monetization system and buy a shit ton of loot boxes to get those legendary XP boosts. You know, some of those boxes, if you have everything already unlocked, you just get XP boosts that are legendaries. So yeah, if you just spend a lot of money, you can get those big XP boosts. That's right, the first system that is so grindy that you can pay real money to get through it quicker. Like full on, like this, at least when Halo 4, once it came out, you couldn't buy any more of those Mountain Dew things to get those experience points. So once the game was already out, if you didn't have any more of those, it was done. But this system you could pay way more into, just so much money just flooding for those double XPs and or getting those legendary XPs, and that's just ridiculous. And this is why I'm glad that Halo Infinite is not going to be rewarding people for 152 with some exclusive armor. Maybe they are going to say, like some people speculate, a special nameplate or something like that, but not an ultra exclusive armor, you know, says the Halo community. team lead, what they said. And anyone that has a problem with that clearly is missing the big picture here. People are saying, but I want to, you know, feel a sense of pride and accomplishment for getting 152. Why shouldn't I get a special reward? But they forget the reality is that about 80 to 90% of those 600 players that got to 152, they all paid money to help get them there. So it's not a sense of a pride and accomplishment to get to a top rank that you could actually pay for easily. So I'm sorry, I know that you all want to be, you know, have that pride and accomplishment of paying for your rank to be a Patrick Sutherland kind of guy, but no, the fact is that this would be rewarding people for paying real money to get it, because the most of the people actually had paid rec packs. So if you paid rec packs and you got to 152, yeah, you don't really deserve a reward for making it easier on yourself. Let's just be honest with each other. That's not actually fair to the overall majority, and that would just backfire in 343's industry face of saying, hey, you have to pay to get this cool armor at the very end of it. People think right now it's all great, but then once people start realizing, yeah, that's right, most people paid for this. So yeah, it just making exclusive armor and incentivizing people to pay real money to get to an imaginary rank to make it go faster, so that once you get to Halo Infinite and get a special armor piece, would really actually look badly on 343 when it comes to Halo 5. And I can just, you know, feel it already happening in Halo Infinite. If it were to have happened, that Halo 5 would be, you know, just a barren wasteland. I even did a video about that on the top 10 features of Halo 5 that the community asks, you know, 343 things that they want to add in there, and some of the things that, you know, they add in there might actually still keep the game still fun to play. But if they don't, I see that game just completely dying off real quickly. If they don't, you know, see much chance of Halo 5 will, you know, have anything to, you know, go for in the future, I don't see them actually making an incentive to go to 152. I don't see, you know, people that just start to play Halo Infinite and go, oh, I really want that armor, and they go, oh, you got to get to 152 in another game. So you're telling me I need to go back to Halo 5 and either spend a lot of money to make it quicker, or play 3 years of this game grinding or so to get to a rank just to play in another game? And they go, yeah. And then, you know, obviously there's gonna be some people there go, so what you're telling me is I still have a chance? Yeah, just no. That's the thing. Just, it's not gonna happen. Obviously, if you think about it, exclusive, you know, is not gonna work. You know, some people are gonna be mad about it and complain on Twitter, but I mean, look at the facts here. You had YouTubers crying about the fact that they had spent real money to try and get to 152, and were mad when they said that they want to get a reward for it. So you just admitted that you spent real money, and now you feel like you're entitled to a special exclusive armor. Let that sink in for you guys. You feel entitled for getting an armor for paying your way up? Yeah, don't go there with me. You know, imagine spending real money for an exclusive armor in a video game. That's just ridiculous. Anyways, so no matter how much money you spend, you shouldn't be feeling like you're entitled to a special armor and whatnot, just because you got up the rank quicker by doing that. That's just dumb. Okay, maybe like a boosted in-game currency for Halo Infinite to buy whatever armor they like. That's what they'll probably do. Like, say when the game comes out, if you do get to 152, they'll give you like 5,000 credits or something like that to spend right off the bat. Something like that. Maybe they'll give you like a little bit of a head advantage of buying whatever armor you want. But I don't think that they're gonna, you know, do something like that. That's something super exclusive and whatnot. That just doesn't even seem fair. Sorry, you know, for the ranks there, but Halo 5's ranking system was just the worst out of all of them. I hate the grinding mechanic so much. It's why I gave up on Destiny 1. It was literally designed to be a grind fest, and I got so bored of it so fast. I dropped out of that after like maybe 3 months. I was already bored of this game. All it was just play these 3 or 4 maps, grind out, trying to pick up these items, and then after spending like 3 months worth of collecting this stuff, you may be able to afford like maybe one item, one exclusive item. It's like, or not exclusive, but one high legendary item. It really was not worth it. And so I was just like, I'm used to good quality Halo games where you could get all the content without feeling like a complete grind fest like Halo 3 was. I like that. I like that it wasn't a complete grind fest. And, you know, people say Activision's fault is why, you know, Bungie made Destiny so grindy, but let this sink in. They added that into Halo Reach before they were even part of Activision. So no, it had nothing to do with Microsoft. That was unfortunately just something that they unfortunately built upon, and that's just the reason why I think even Destiny 3 is going to be grindy, which is why I'm going to stay away from that grind fest, because I am not interested at all. I'm just going to, you know, side note here, this is how you tell if a game's good. If you take all the unlocks and you unlock them, there's no challenges or achievements, nothing. Everything's done. Think of it like Halo 2. It's just complete at launch. This is what you have. You don't have extra content or anything. Just everything you have right now, and then play it, and then tell me, is it still fun? This is how you tell that even after 4 or 5 years, if everyone unlocks everything in the game, is there still a reason to play this game? If your only reason to play the game is to unlock armor, and there's nothing else really going for the game that, you know, keeps you interested in playing, that's a problem in the game development, that you need to find a new way to make this game interesting and fun. That there needs to be something that has more replayability than just trying to hope that people will grind out a system to get cool content, and then once that's finished, you just sit there and you go, well, I guess I'm gonna go play a different game. That doesn't work. By the way, I skipped, you know, MCC because of the fact that it was designed on Halo 2's system, where it was just a competitive rank system, so there was no casual progressive rank system. Anyways, so with 4 different progressive rank systems, we have the Halo 3 Generals system, we have the Halo Reach Inheritors, we have the Halo 4 SR-130s, and the Halo 5 SR-152s. There has been a slight controversy in which system players like the most, with what they want to see in Halo Infinite, and I ran a poll, and, you know, no surprise, Halo 4 and Halo 5 were the least liked out of the two. Halo 4's was just far too easy, and Halo 5's was just a nightmarish grind fest. But it was not just that too, it was also the fact that SR-130 and SR-152, it doesn't sound interesting. It doesn't sound interesting at all. Like, you had Halo 3 General, and you had Halo Reach Inheritor, that they had cool names attached to them. So I like that too. That was something probably also played a factor in a lot of other people's decisions, is they did not like just a number. That and the over grind fest or too easy, I think played some big factors in why people did not enjoy that at all. And so it left it with Halo 3 and Halo Reach as the two fighting for dominance. There's some, you know, groups that like really loved Reach, and then there's some that really loved Halo 3. And there's, you know, obviously, again, good reasons. People also commented why they liked both systems, and their validation for both of why they, you know, were for them. People admitted that Halo Reach was a bit way too grindy, that it should have been lowered, but that there was, you know, certain aspects that they liked. Halo Reach gave players the ability to play anywhere. You weren't restricted just to the matchmaking, which I have to agree, that's, you know, cool, the fact that you don't feel stuck in that system, even though they should have given a lot more credit to other game modes. They were always just worried about people boosting, but I think they kind of limited way too harshly on capping things like Forge and custom games. But anyways, it was just cool that you could play campaign again if you wanted to. You weren't forced and restricted to matchmaking. If you could play campaign, you could play campaign. If you want to play custom games at Forge, you could get rewarded for that as well. And not much, but still, you know, something to enjoy. Halo Reach's firefight and matchmaking got you rewarded with not just XP, but commendations and challenges as well. While there were also in campaign commendations as well, but yeah, I think also challenges too. But yeah, they were, you know, had different things in them, and, you know, the ability to run your own challenges was pretty cool. I think it was a cool aspect of the game that I have to agree that it really was great to really give players more freedom to do what they wanted to, which I can understand why that was a really liked system. Just, you know, not all the modes were treated with the same XP fairness, and the grindy rank systems were just not excitingly thrilling to play. Halo 3's, on the other hand, in the great part of the Halo 3 system, unlike the rest of the other systems, which gave you XP for practically everything, Halo 3 required you to have a little bit more skill than the other ones. You couldn't just play forever and rank up necessarily. You couldn't just progress on that alone. It required more effort out of the player, unlike other systems where you could just lose every single match. You could just lose every single match and still get inheritor. Think about that for a second. If you lost every match you ever played in Halo Reach, even though I know that's not possible, you'd eventually win one of them, just by factor that you should eventually by then win at least one match. But kind of reminds me of an episode of Battlefield Friends where they talked about getting to Colonel 100 and getting that cool unlocked bow, and Colonel's like sitting there acting like it's not that big of an accomplishment, because the fact is that even a noob can get to it.
Reminds me of what they did with the C100. Any of you guys got one of those?
Oh yeah, I got one right here.
Yeah, see what I mean? Any knucklehead with a freaking uniform gets one these days.
I don't think that's right. I mean, I had to earn it. I had to reach Colonel to get it.
After 2 years of this game being out, soldier, any idiot with enough spotting bonuses can reach Colonel.
I think that's a bit of an exaggeration, sir.
Hey guys, if you're using the bows, I'd avoid using the poison arrows. Pro tip.
All right, you guys enjoy those weapons you didn't earn. I just hope they don't start giving away the boat pod next.
Yeah, and any kills you guys get with those bows don't count. You fucking cheaters.
Oh no, they do count. And you know what? I did earn this C100.
Oh, okay, those jeeps don't drive too good, guys. Up, anti-tank soldier to the north. What? Promoted? Promoted! Colonel 100! Oh, I got the 5-foot knife! I got the C100!
Ah, forget it.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Halo 4 and Halo Reach, and even Halo 5, even over enough time, you would eventually get to the max rank just by playing. Though the money plays a big influencer on Halo 4 and Halo 5, especially Halo 5. So what's a good alternative from the feedback that I got from all the people, their input, and what might be a good alternative factoring in all the negatives that Halo 4 and Halo 5 had, which they didn't like it being too easy or too grindy, and didn't have much of identification with like just these numbers and not like a cool rank associated with them. So I'm thinking about like a system where even if you're one of those self-admitted proud grinders, you can at least get it in like less than a year. If you're really gonna sit there and just grind your ass off on that, probably less than that if you just have literally no life and you get like a ship bucket or something and you dump your girlfriend and quit your job, then maybe you can get it in a year or like maybe 6 months if you really are that try hard for it. But like a casual should at least be able to maybe if they play 10 matches a day or so, 10-15 matches, that they should be able to at least get to the max rank within a year and no more than 2 years. If they do something like that, somewhere within that threshold, maybe, I think that's probably a better route to go with. I liked Halo 3's idea though, rewarding you for winning, so it kind of actually added more to it, to the system of really showing you that you had more than just you played a lot, but you actually have an effort of winning. So if you were just like a really high ranker but in skill but low in wins, then we just knew you were just a booster. If you had high high amount of play but low level, then it tells us that you don't do really like ranked games, or that you don't play very well. That was kind of some ways to tell. And so that was just some indication there. But I also want Halo Reach ability to play anywhere. So one possibility is that it's where we use a Halo 3 system to reward players, but also some ability to have the play anywhere Halo Reach attributes. So maybe you get like 2 XP for winning, 1 XP for playing. You're just like completing the match, and maybe an additional XP if you get the top player on the winning team. So if you get the MVP in a BTB, you'll get rewarded 3 experience points versus the losing team just gets 1 experience point, and you get a minus experience point if you quit the match. And this would at least, I know it's a little bit like Halo Reach in a way, but it's still geared towards winning, so it still has more efforts. You win 10 matches versus you lose 10 matches, you got 30 versus 10, and that's already a drastic 3 times difference. And you can still play campaign and custom games, but all you'll get out of it is 1 point if you do that, and you can only get it through winning the custom games. You just get 1 point and that's it. And it makes sure that no one abuses the exploit, and you have to have at least say 4 players or more, and it has to go more than 5 minutes. At least do that. I think we should be good on custom games. As for campaign, you have to play the entire game, and no exploits like Halo Reach's beat the first mission exploit, and you can speed run that through doing like that glitch. But finding the actual speed run time it would take to get through that map, and then actually reward it for how fast you can actually get through the map legitimately without cheating. Maybe give 1 experience point for that. As for firefight, it would just be again 1 point if you actually complete the match, and 1 point if you're the guys that win at the end. If you're like the #1 player on that team, and say like Warzone, it'd be like 3 points. You're the winning team, top player, and you complete the match. But yeah, that's just my take on it. Anyways, again, also with Forge, you would also be able to get at least 1 point, because we want to promote forgers for making cool maps. So at least again, they have to be foraging for at least 5 minutes or longer to get anything. And I know some people are going to scream in the comments section below, but if they do a battle royale mode, again, hold off on the screaming. I'm just saying that if they do, what I say here, what they should do is, if you're on the winning team of a team based, you get a point. If you're the top player, you get another point. But if you're on a free-for-all, you get 2 points flat out, and everything else you don't get any points. I know that sounds like, oh, that's gonna be ridiculously hard, but I mean, if people want to do that, they should at least get some reward for it. But yeah, anyways, that's just my take on it. Also, again, if anyone quits any of these PvP or PvE modes at all in the multiplayer at all, or like campaign, they quit out or something like that, they get a minus XP. So, this would exclude Forge and custom games for obvious reasons, but still count for matchmaking campaign if you're going for like those score lineup searches, anything that has any matchmaking to it that's going to affect other players' experiences, and you quit. Obviously that those have the minus XP, but the other ones won't have that. So you can quit a server browser custom game and not be punished, but if you get booted or kicked from a game, or you quit, that's a matchmaking game, you get a minus point. So it prefers for the players to still stay in the match, not quit, and still reward you. So with this system, it's not as strict as Halo 3's, but it allows for more freedom of the player to go about where they want to. So I see this as kind of a fair system between the two, that it kind of rewards both. It rewards you for winning and punishes you for quitting, and it still allows you to play anywhere you want. So this is, in my idea, it's perfect, and I would hope that they don't do a cap system. I hope, but I mean, that's we'll have to see about that. Also, I hope that the progressive ranking system does something more interesting in the ranks than just calling it SR number. I would like to see the Inheritor or the Reach, the Inheritor rank in Reach, or the general rank in Halo 3. I'd like to see one of those two. Those would be pretty interesting. So this way we have a system that isn't a grind fest like Halo Reach or Halo 5, nor is it too easy like Halo 4's was. Something more of the middle ground area. That is it. If they can do something and it doesn't take less than 2 years, if it does take at least less than 2 years casual play of like 10-15 games a day, if you do something like that, and you like win every single one of them, I guess you could say, it would take you less than 2 years. If they do something like that, I think it would be fair. I don't know how to, I'm not going to go factor in all that math, but I'm just saying you got to play at least a good decent amount, I would say. Also interesting, ranks, you play any mode you like. I think this is, probably the best system to have to please everyone, both casuals and competitives, in a fair system. And it's not a paid to rank up quick because you bought a bunch of XPs like Halo 5's was, and throw in some rewards, that feel good about when you get to certain ranks or certain tiers that you unlock emblems and armors, and maybe some points that some points are something that you earn in matches that are entirely separate. So you still get an experience point for winning a match, but instead you get like 100 credits to buy an armor, maybe something like that, possibly. And it's entirely separate, so you have to achieve a certain rank and then you can buy that armor. So it actually has some incentive to get to certain ranks and get up there. And the progressive ranking system necessarily doesn't need to be connected to any ranking system, but winning would get you more points in the way of getting up there. So again, it promotes the play to win aspect to it, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's forced upon you indirectly. I think that would be a good idea, and anyone can comment down below and let me know if I'm wrong on that. But this way it's not feeling like it's such a grind fest to get up there. And for those that say, oh no, I want a really grindy system, I want to feel like I can get up there really quickly and then get to brag about it for like over a year or two or whatnot, like Halo 5, to that I say no. You got like 6 months head advance, but the system's not designed for grindy players. It's designed to be a progressive ranking system that people can lock armors and stuff. It's not meant for, because I have no life, I just play a lot of it and I get rewarded for it. Again, it's supposed to be designed for winning, not just because you sat there and played like 50 matches a day or so. It's just something that's kind of just like, okay, you got over time. If you really are one of those people that wants to really feel competitive, we have a competitive ranking system. But if you want to be like Save Your Soul, who was top first inheritor, and you want to get that, go and grind for it and be get your name put down on a wiki if that's really what you want to go for. But as for everyone else, like, you shouldn't have this thing of like everyone else should have to suffer the same thing you suffer through just because you want to grind it. That's really your prerogative at that point. Eventually everyone will get their fair chance to get to the top rank. Again, this is my take from the feedback from what you guys have provided. Anyways, if you want to vote as well, I'll leave the poll links down below so you can vote on that in the description area. It'll be there. If you have any suggestions of anything or thoughts or opinions of what they should do for a casual or not casual, a progressive ranking system, leave that comment section down below for comments, and just put down your opinions, and make sure to give this video a like and share it around. And if you see anyone bringing up this controversy as well and wants to know more about the progressive ranking system throughout the Halo series, share this to them if you want, and they can get to see what each system was like. Also, subscribe if you want to help promote this channel and help grow the channel more. And if you want to donate through Patreon, that would really be helpful. Also, hit notifications if you want to get updates on more of these videos when they do drop. I do have more of these controversy video series that come, as well as other Halo series like the Halo Custom Archive series, the Halo Myths, the Halo News, and others videos not probably Halo related as well. I'll probably do as well. So with that being said, I'll see you the next time, and I am sending this video out with a bang.
Say what?
Yeah.